True living Africa. True living Africa.
Welcome to True Living Africa. I'm your host for today, Uyok.
And I'm Oyin Talabi.
And we are your wellness coaches. We are here to support you on your journey to staying well. Follow us on Instagram at True Living Africa and also at Africa Business Radio on Instagram, Twitter, and website www.africabusinessradio.com.
Yeah.
So, Oyin, how have you been?
I've been getting by. It's been very interesting during the lockdown.
Yes.
I know it's been very interesting. Have you been coping?
We are in interesting times. We are, I'd say. I've had questions about how to maintain your sanity during this period. Yeah. Like all caution is thrown out the window.
Yeah.
What the heck do? We can't control what's going on with our lives.
Yeah. And it's interesting that it's everybody that is going through it. And this is a very, very stressful time. And that's why we're talking about mental well-being.
Yes.
How do we disengage so that we can re-engage?
Absolutely.
And how do we keep our sanity through all of this? Because there's a lot going on. There's the physical stress of, there's a virus out there trying to get you.
This unseen enemy.
And then there's now all the ripple effects from the lockdown, from the shutting down of economies. And also a lot of people have started losing their jobs.
Losing their freedom, their physical freedom.
So we've lost physical freedom. People have lost physical jobs. A lot of companies are changing, letting go a lot of staff, which makes sense. A lot of the people in a lot of small businesses are shutting down.
They're really struggling.
Yeah, a lot of them are shut down. So I know a few companies and businesses in my network have had to let go of their team because it's not sustainable for them. Because we live in such a cash environment or economy, it's not sustainable to keep paying salaries every month.
Meanwhile,
there's nothing coming in. So people have been let go. Businesses have shut down. Meanwhile, you still have the same overheads, even more, because you have to pay more for electricity, you have to pay more for data, you have to pay more for food. So, there's a lot of pressure and it's coming all at once. So you can't even run to anybody because that person too is going through his own pressure. Right. So there's actually no one to run to. So it's very, very stressful.
Right.
And stress, as we know, can be the enemy. I know it can be the enemy on a physical level and on a mental level. And as we know, the body works as one. It works as one machine. So whatever affects you mentally affects you physically. It will affect you spiritually.
Absolutely.
And all of this then combines together, makes a nice cup of stew
for illness,
for imbalance in family, for grooming imbalanced children.
Right.
So it's how do we go forward?
How do we stay sane?
Stay sane.
Keep our sanity.
Yeah.
Through it all. And it doesn't even help sometimes when you see, like, you're watching the news or social media and you see how some people seem to like have it all figured out. They're doing stuff, they're reinventing, they're da-da-da-da. But anyway, we'll come to that in a minute.
Yeah.
So,
that's a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot to filter through so that you can find your own self. And as they say on social media, do you, boo. So for you to filter through so you can do you.
Yes.
But, you have to find you first. And because we had been in a rat race for so long, a lot of us had actually lost us. We lost a sense of self. And now during this pause, it's like
anything but the rat race.
Yeah, and it's now like, who am I?
Exactly.
Who am I? And I think that that's the core of the of the
Where some of
mental
the
stability that people are having and the emotional upheaval
distress,
that people are
yes.
having, because it's now coming from a place of who am I without my job? I haven't spent as much time with my family as I would have. Who
are these
you?
people?
Exactly.
Who are these people?
People.
Who is this guy in my house?
Exactly. What are these clothes in my wardrobe? What's that behind my wardrobe? So it's
Right.
like there's so much to grapple with, and then there's
That's
some
true.
people that, like you said, look like they have it all figured out, sending out courses all the time. If you're not coming out of this pandemic with a new degree, with a new plan for your life, then you're a failure. And I'm like,
That's the
okay.
subliminal message. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
okay. So how have you been coping? And you
yes.
have children, you're having to deal with homeschooling.
Yes, and all
as
of
well.
that. Yeah.
How's that
And
coming together?
and it's a shout out to parents out there who
Yeah.
have had to deal with the same situation. And
Yeah.
some parents are so stressed that they decided to just opt out of the entire what they would call BS. I'm sorry, to just
Of
opt out.
homeschooling?
Yes, of homeschooling, because they just
Wow.
couldn't see a way out of it. So it didn't make sense to pay fees, for instance, and then take on all that responsibility.
Yeah.
But I got to a place, the acceptance place, like I keep, I like to say, where I realized one day during my meditative session that the minute you decide to become a parent,
Yeah.
you become a teacher.
Yeah. Very true.
It's not a responsibility that you can
can give to
completely
someone else.
abdicate to someone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's important that we embrace
And that's true. It's something that people have actually turned over to the teachers. So
and
certain
to school, educational
schools, yeah.
establishments.
Certain things that children should have learned at home, they expected teachers to teach.
Exactly.
I know, but it's a lot to come together at the same time now, especially if you have looming over your head a job. You might
And
not even have a
bills.
job after
Right.
this and bills. So you had a list of the stages of
grief, because
that's what we're all going
that's
through.
what we're going through, and it's important to sort of identify the kind of emotional distress that has hit a lot of people, has hit most of us during this COVID-19 stage, big, small, rich, poor.
Yeah.
And I drilled it down to the fact that we've basically just gone through those stages of grief. And the template for grief is, when you suffer a loss, you first go through that stage of disbelief.
Yeah.
Or what we call, denial. Like, this is not happening.
Yeah. And in that stage, there's also that, so denial, you distance yourself from, you're disengaged from, you're disconnected from
You're
it.
disconnected.
It's not really happening.
It's not happening to me.
Yeah.
So maybe it's happening to the other person.
I went through that.
Yes. And it's, so for me, for instance, when it hit me, I was in denial at first, especially with the whole lockdown thing is happening in China. Oh my God, they've shut down a whole town.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, them, and then, some people flying in from the US, from the UK and all of that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's still somewhere in Ikeja. Maybe, it's not. And it hit me on the day that I was going out for a run, and I got a message from my local gym that they were going to be shutting down, because 2 days before that, we had just done like a group class.
Wow.
And, we were planning COVID parties and all of that. And then the gym sends a message and says, sorry, we can't be open.
Yeah.
And it threw me for a big fat loop, because,
Where do you go from here now?
Yes,
Everything needs
because
to
that was a huge part of my daily schedule. And I just felt, without being able to work out in a social setting, for some of us who don't know how to do the thing solo,
Yeah.
Sally Sanguine, hey, it hit me that this is happened to me now.
Yeah.
And then I got really upset. And we can't really talk about like how to solve for the stages of disbelief or denial, apart from just prepare for when it hits you
and accept it.
and accept, and there are ways you can't even rush. Everyone is going to go through their different stages at different times, organically or, supernaturally, but we will go through those stages.
And we'll probably even repeat those stages.
Right, exactly, over different
repeated.
circumstances.
Yeah.
Right. So the next stage of grief, and the next stage of what's happening with a lot of people emotionally, is when you move from that disbelief or denial to anger. And I remember once some guys on the street or opposite where I lived said stuff like, oh, this rich man's disease, they brought it, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't concern us. And what's our business? Stuff like that. I'm like, okay, you're in the disbelief stage. And then when the anger came and people started to get upset that they couldn't go out and earn a living and started to riot and stuff like that. So that's the anger stage. And for us at home, just understand that a lot of us are going through this stuff.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not alone.
Yeah.
You're not alone in this emotional upheaval.
Yeah.
And it also applies to people who are having issues with their jobs and juggling a family and even having to face that emotional discomfort of being in close proximity with their family members who they've hardly spent time with for the last 5, 6, 10 years.
Yeah, true.
Because of this wonderful rat race that we've opted into.
Yeah.
And so we need to find ways to deal with the anger.
Yeah.
Anger is a strong and negative emotion, and we have to find a way to expel it without taking it out on those around us.
I don't like to think of anger as negative. I mean, yeah, it's a more mellow, or it's
Right.
on that other line of the spectrum,
Right,
mellow
yeah,
side, but
yeah.
it's not necessarily negative. It's
Like
actually
in totality.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
pointing out that there is
A problem to solve.
that needs to be dealt
Yes,
with.
there's an opportunity
There's an opportunity
because anger is a signal.
exactly.
Yes, like everything that hurts and
Exactly.
pain is a
So,
signal.
but the challenge is now when you stay in that space of anger for too long,
When you
like
stay in your
every other,
feelings, yeah.
exactly, like every other emotion, apart from happiness and joy.
We need to stay
We
there.
stay there.
But you see, the only time that we appreciate things like happiness and joy is when we've suffered anger and loss.
Yeah,
Right.
very true. So we need them.
The spectrum, yes,
They
it's a
help us to
balance.
balance.
Right.
So what else?
And so from anger, we move very quickly to, depression. Once, because with anger, there's something about feeling like you can do something about this.
Yeah.
I'm going to riot. I'm going to rally people. We're going to come out with one voice. We're going to write an email. We're going to write a stinker, blah, 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 blah.
Then
But with COVID,
there's
we
no
have no
email.
control. There's that feeling that you've lost a sense. There's nothing you can do
Yeah.
about it. We haven't got a cure yet, so you don't have the cure. If you do, please share it. You can't go to work.
we don't have a
A vaccine,
a worldwide accepted
of
cure.
yes, the
but-
worldwide accepted cure. But we know what we do in these parts, don't we? So, what it is you don't have control.
Yeah.
You've lost your physical freedom. You can't have your get-togethers.
Yeah.
Like my daughter's 10th. My daughter turned 10, and we went through all these plans. We went from this huge, going out with a bus full of friends to like 3 different spots and ending up in one spot. And we even thought about how we were going to do like a weekend away, and we had grand plans. Although I must say that this pandemic saved me some cash. Saved me a tidy sum. And so, but by the time the day came,
Yeah.
we realized that if we were even able to get a cake, that would be something. If we could get someone to bake a nice cake and deliver it. And then we got to the place where we said, you know what, if we can even get flour and a cake or a cake mix that will make it quick, to just come together as a family and bake to commemorate this occasion,
Day, yeah.
it would still be so, we had to accept
That you had no control.
we had no control over
the
we
situation.
couldn't execute all our plans and all of that.
Yeah.
And when you're in a situation like that, you really have to dig deep to find something to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Gratitude really helps with that depression and
Oh,
sadness
yes.
and the anger. Gratitude really, really helps. And when we go down our list, I know gratitude is another thing that you hear being thrown around a lot. And some people don't even connect with what it means. But honestly, gratitude takes you out of that place of victimization, of victimhood, that mentality of I am a victim. Why is this happening to me? The government should take care of me. All that woe is me type situation. And in as much as we haven't got any control, we still can control our insides.
Yeah.
And we can find
And our
things
perspective.
and our perspective, and we can find things to be grateful for. If you have 2 hands and all your fingers complete, and you can speak and see, and you have
And
your
you don't
senses,
have COVID.
and you're not infected,
Yeah.
you're not dead.
Yeah.
That's something to be grateful for. You
Yes.
you live to fight another day. And after going through all those, we've got disbelief or denial, anger, depression or sadness. Then there's that place of acceptance,
Yeah.
right? Where you've gone through your gratitude exercises and you then start to accept. And from acceptance, you then go to that place of optimism.
Yeah.
That's where we really want to be able to
That's where
move.
I want to stay.
We want to stay. And then there are some people who don't even seem to have gone through any of the stages, right? And they just seem to be optimistic all of a sudden. And you're like, how did that happen? They just moved through it
Yeah.
quicker than,
Than most
than most. And
people.
so the key is not to stay
Yeah.
in
Stay
your
in the cycle.
in the cycles, but of course we're going to share like actionable tips.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
I'm trying to think of how I've felt or what my experience has been. I know that I went through denial, and then I went through, but then because my life is generally isolated. I've been living isolated for so long.
I hear that a lot.
I work from home a lot
Already, yeah.
and I like to stay home. I like to just be by myself. So it was okay.
It didn't seem. It just seemed like the next level.
Yeah, it just seemed like the next level, as in, okay, so I move other thing online now. But the moving things online was a little, because it was something that I knew had to happen. I saw it coming, not thanks to COVID, but I just sort of saw it coming.
As a trend
that we're going to do more things online. So I had, I'd done a few things online, but I hadn't necessarily moved things the way that I had. But like with my Pilates classes, the following week, once the lockdown had been announced, the following week I just said to the guys, want to try it online? Everybody was up for it, and we just sort of flowed with it. So I think I'm one of those that kind of went through it
pretty quickly.
Although there was now a time where it became, okay, I need to go outside. I need to see other human beings right now. And so I've been dreaming of hanging out by a pool, my legs in the water, and endless cocktails just coming my way.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm looking forward
I
to
love that dream.
But apart from that, I haven't necessarily gone through a lot of negativity. I think when I started having a bit of almost depression was when I was getting a lot of those I'm on different groups, and they do I was getting a lot of those messages of, you must come out of this pandemic with a new degree, with a new plan for your life, with this and that. And I was thinking,
hey, wait a minute, we're just trying to survive here. What's this?
The first 2 weeks, I slept. I was just sleeping. I'd wake up, eat, do a class, and go back to sleep.
Right.
That was literally my life for 2 weeks. So when I woke up from my 2 week sleep and started seeing all these messages, I thought, oh my God, I slept 2 weeks of my life away. What's going to happen to me? Right. And it was almost depressing until I realized that, you know what? That's for them.
You're on your own clock.
I'm on my own clock. I'm okay with where I am. And, started processing my life. So meditating. So I started doing certain things that we're about to go into. Had to disengage so that I could re-engage.
Right.
And so that's what we're hoping that you guys will all get to do now.
We'll take away from this.
Yeah, we'll take away from this.
Because it's so key to dealing with the anger and depression and sadness. Number one thing I would say is really, especially when you're working from home, the first thing you want to do is to create some kind of structure around your day.
Yeah, structure.
Structure
is important.
Your routine. Structure is so key. You have a set time to wake up, a set time to go to bed, a set time for meals. My goodness, meal timetables are a lifesaver. You won't even get it until you have everyone in your house looking to the timetable to know what's on for dinner, lunch or breakfast. It really helps you to structure because it gives you that sense of agency, that sense of control that that is one thing, one area of your life. Yes, an order.
So get out of bed, take a bath, lay your bed.
Right.
So I would get out, lay bed, do exercises if I'm teaching a class, and then go straight to the study.
Right.
And be as if, I'm at work.
Exactly. And so as opposed to trying to work from home while you're in bed, you just sort of roll over in your pajamas and then open your laptop. No, you want to get up, do something healthy, have like a really great power morning.
Yeah.
Go out for a walk or a run or whatever exercise, if you can do it in your living room or whatever, include a healthy habit into your daily or morning routine.
So regular breaks from being at your desk, because that's also the other thing from working from home, which a lot of people are experiencing. You end up overcompensating. So you spend longer hours at your desk.
Yes.
than you normally would at work.
Exactly.
And so
you're having eye problems, you're having headaches. Yes.
Exactly. So you need to take regular breaks from that. Remember that sitting is also one of the new diseases that we have.
Yes.
And also you need to stand up at least for at least 2 minutes in an hour. Just stand up, walk away, look away from the screen.
And walk around
and come back
right.
and continue your work.
Absolutely. And also because sitting, one of the issues with sitting is for long periods, it sends you into circulation and sends you into some kind of metabolic decline.
Yeah.
So you really want to compensate for all that sitting by making sure that you get your 10,000 steps or 5,000 steps a day in, and working out your muscles so that they don't atrophy.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things. Do regular strength training exercises with your body weight or an external weight.
So notice how we've moved from structure to exercise. So exercise is also key. Apart from having that time of exercise during your day, you want to structure in some small movements and exercise into it.
Absolutely. That's the healthy part, and it helps you. Incorporating exercise also helps you maintain perspective. It keeps you healthier. It keeps you it increases your concentration and keeps you happier.
Yeah, so you release all those endorphins and stuff. So it helps you feel
your outlook is better. Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. It's not just something people say.
And you actually feel like you've achieved something.
Yes.
Even me as a teacher, when I'm teaching a class, so I have a more intermediate class that I look forward to because it's a workout. I'm able to work out with them as a group. And when we get through it, it's like,
it's a sense of accomplishment. Isn't
we
it?
did this.
Right.
We did this.
Absolutely. So the other two things, we'll just run through them quickly, is to really connect with family and friends where you can, especially family and friends that have, where you have relationships that feed you, and nourish you. Connect with family and friends, and then
you can have a lot of people are having Zoom parties, and also you can go online, have a Zoom, Skype, an online party. Just get together. My high school friends we're doing one this Friday. Everybody comes together, have your own drink, get dressed up.
Oh, interesting.
And meet up online and we gist and we talk and we drink and we just have a blast.
Yeah.
I know, but everybody's in their own zone.
Yeah.
I know. So I'm looking forward to that. But there's been a lot of that going on.
There's a lot of that going on. If you don't find it distracting, then absolutely. Some people like me, I find like huge Zoom groups distracting. I don't know why. I'm still sort of transitioning, but one-on-one conversations work for me perfectly.
Yeah. And then digital detox.
Yes, the digital detox is so key.
Yeah.
You need to be able to take a break from watching the news and reading social media, especially because there's so much fake news out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of the news is not encouraging.
Yeah, so don't be checking how many COVID infections are in your
Death
country or in
rates
your
and all of that
state.
stuff.
Don't do that.
Yeah, you try to. And for the digital detox, the reason why we use the word detox is because we're asking you to disengage and step away for a while. So for sometimes between Friday and Monday over the weekend, I just don't check my WhatsApp messages.
Okay.
Many of them are forwarded messages, and I'm like, I saw this already.
Yeah.
I saw that one. Oh my goodness, have you seen what? Oh no, that one is fake. Oh, that one is real. It's just a lot of noise.
Yeah.
That tends to distract and leaves you destabilized,
And we have to sort of see, you mentioned something about perspective, which we need, when we come to acceptance stage
and
in
optimism
the graces.
stage.
We need to understand that we need to see this whole pandemic season as a divine pause. The earth is telling us, nature is telling us to take a break. And so as opposed to see it as I'm confined to the house, just be like, you know what, I'm taking a break from the rat race.
Right.
And so detoxing is a great way to, I don't need to know everything that's going on social media.
Right.
I don't need to be on Instagram all the time.
Right.
And so that you can then reconnect with yourself, reconnect with your loved ones, the people that are in the house with you, or even, not in the house with you.
Absolutely.
But you're disengaging from all that noise, like you said, so that you can find your inner self, which takes us to, in the process of finding your inner self, meditation. So meditation is a very important thing for us to try at this particular point in time.
Yes.
And if you don't know how to meditate, meditation can be easy. It's hard, but can be easy. So I started out using an app called 1 Minute Meditation. It's on Google. It's a free app.
Yeah.
So just download it and it will help you meditate. There are a lot of also guys on YouTube that do their own different meditations. You can,
you have to find the one that works.
Find what works
because
for
what meditation does is it helps you to quiet your mind.
Yeah.
It can take a lot, especially when we're used to being so activated.
Yeah.
It helps you to find the center and to hear.
Yeah.
Or I like to say to access.
Yeah, and we all have an internal compass that is trying to navigate us. And
To
if we're
speak.
able to quiet down
We
and
will
hear,
absolutely.
we will reconnect with our internal compass.
Exactly.
And
And it also helps you to sort of wash negative emotions.
off you.
It helps you to, with the anger and the sadness, and in all of that you find perspective. But meditation is a discipline. You have to be able to actually do it to get the benefits. It's kind of like exercise.
Kind of like exercise. Another important thing that you can do is find other things that you love doing that help you to just release. So me, a little neurotic, but I like to paint my nails.
I heard about that.
So I would sit, paint my nails. I can do it like 2-3 times. The other day I found, well, not the other day, before the lockdown, I found this nail polish that you can peel off. So I'd paint my nails, and then when I'm feeling like, okay, I need to something, I'll just peel it off.
And take your time doing it because there's nothing else to do.
I'm here. Where am I rushing to? But I take my time to paint my nails.
Yes.
I can do designs, as the spirit moves.
And just do you. Find something that you can create as you can use as your outlet.
As your outlet. So if it's painting, you can start drawing. Some people are learning new languages, so they are learning French. They're doing things that they've wanted to do but didn't necessarily have the time. And not everything is paid for. There are a lot of free stuff online. You don't feel the pressure that you need to do some kind of course,
something
or
heavy.
You don't need to.
Right, because if you're in survival mode, it's fine to be in survival mode. We will get through this.
We will get through this. Another interesting thing to find your core is to fast. Take a fast. Go on a fast. It will help you to just develop some mental resilience. It will help you to balance out yourself and also build your immune system and help you to just be more meditative. So it even makes your meditation much more effective.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
also,
absolutely, I agree with you. And so, those are, did you find this stuff useful?
Oh, yeah. I mean, everything that we talked about are things that I've practiced.
Absolutely actionable.
Very actionable.
Take those points.
And also,
put a structure to your day. Include healthy stuff in your day, healthy practices. Try to fast, meditate, control stress.
Control your stress.
Yeah.
Control your stress. You have to disengage.
And
then for those of us that are really wondering, how is it that we're going to balance out the stress, especially if you don't know if you still have a job by next week. There's a practice that I do. I read it in a book many years ago, and it's worked for me all these years, and worked with clients as well, is to accept the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So what's the worst thing that can happen? Okay, I lose my job. Okay, so I lose my job. What's the way up? I mean, once you're down and flat, the only way
to go is up.
Or out. So when you're at that, exactly, or out. So once you're at that point, it's now, okay, I lose my job. What else is there to do? So you bring out your CV. Are people hiring? Do I have the skills that can get me hired now? If it's a no, okay, have I always wanted to start a business? Can I be an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Do I need skills to be an entrepreneur? There are a lot of free courses that are also out there that that you can connect with to learn how to be an entrepreneur. So there's so many. So it comes back to perspective.
Yeah.
And once you've accepted the worst case scenario, then you can then change your perspective and then start to very gently build your way up. Homeschooling is now an option. So if the school is too expensive, homeschool.
Right.
And just find a balance. It's doable. We're not saying it's easy, but it's doable.
Absolutely.
It's doable. And we're all in it together. Everybody's going through something. So do not let shame be something that will stop you from moving forward. We're
absolutely.
all
well said.
Going through.
Well said. Well said. I love that. Well said. Okay. So, and that brings us to the end of this wonderful segment.
Yes. Thank you all for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing you again next time. Follow us on africabusinessradio.com, Africa Business Radio on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And we are at True Living Africa. So watch the space and see you soon.